Hey everybody, I am back now. It's been a couple of months since I've done my last post and wanted to take a couple seconds and really kind of explain to you guys why I've been away for a while. I have been dealing with a few physical issues, nothing real big to be concerned about, but I have some things that I've been taking care of with my leg and with some sleep apnea stuff that has been kind of honestly causing me to be away from the things that are important to me for a while. Been really trying to focus on taking care of my family and being proud of my wife's accomplishments that she is doing. And so I've really kind of not had any time to sit down and kind of think about what I wanted to kind of say to you guys as far as any messages or anything. But now I'm doing a little better and I am back and wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about accountability today. What I want you guys to think about, and as I've been thinking about recently, is the people that hold you accountable to a certain standard to which they expect. For me, growing up, it was my parents, my family. There's certain ways you act, there's certain things you do, there's certain ways that you behave. I also had some coaches that were really good along the way, playing baseball, bowling, and golf and whatnot. Also, people have accountability standards that they're held to at their jobs. You're either a boss of other people, a leader of other people, like I am. And then I have leaders that say these are the expectations, and I do my best to follow them. And also our friends hold us accountable to certain things, and most importantly, God hold us accountable to a certain standard. And getting into that, that's really what I want to focus on today is the accountability that God kind of calls us to have with one another. We're called to help. We're called to, again, just act in a certain way. Everybody's heard all the, kind of the golden rules, as they say: think before you speak speak softly when you do have to speak, and just, in all ways show love and try to help. And I've had some difficult times in my life with accountability between myself and God. And I think all of us, when it comes to accountability, if things don't go the way that we want them to, we're pretty quick to blame. I know I am. Oh, well, that wasn't my fault. The reason that happened is because A, B, and C happened, right? And that caused me to act in a way that I wouldn't normally act. And now you're blaming me for it, and I'm upset. You know, I get that. Everybody has times in their life that they go through that. When that things like that happen to me, say I didn't get the job I wanted, or I had someone say, "Hey, that's not normally like you. What's going on?" The first thing I always do is have an excuse for it. And that's because I'm a human being, and that's because we're all human, and we all want to make ourselves look better when something happens that maybe we don't really appreciate. And that's not what God wants us to do. And so if this is you and you're really struggling with accountability, I would suggest that you just kind of take a step back, and even if things happen that maybe you didn't have much control over, excuse me, you can say, okay, but what actions did I do that did lead up to this? Because I feel like if you do that, that's a really good way to get closure, right? Closure is something that's very, very much needed, I think, in any type of relationships. If we lose a friend or family member, you have to kind of have that closure so that you can move on with your life. And at the end of the day, if you're a believer, you know that God wouldn't bring you to something if He wasn't going to be right there to bring you through it as well. So that's what I try to focus on after I take my, day or so and have my little pity party, because again, I'm a human being and stuff like that happens. You just want to be mad for a while, and that's okay. but it's not okay to continue to live in that space, that headspace, that, hey, you know what, this is wrong and I'm just going to complain about it and stay down. That's not why God created us, guys. God created us to be victorious. God created us to win. God created us to help others and to help him bring others to him. And that's what I want to focus on. That's kind of why I wanted to have the accountability talk today. Most of this stuff that I talk about, guys, that I post on Facebook, if you follow me on Facebook, you know, it's mostly for me. And I sit down and do these videos and things because I feel like if I can help somebody understand that things are going to be okay, that if they just change their outlook, then things will turn around for them. If you're a true believer and follower of God, you believe that God is perfect and all of his reasoning and all of his actions are perfect. What he lets happen to us is for a reason. What he puts in place to stop bad things from happening to us, even if we want them, if it's the thing that we want the most and we just are blinded by that because we want it so bad. If God says no, we trust that there's a reason and we trust that it's going to end up being for our betterment in the end. That's pretty much all I have today. Any questions, comments? Like my page if you guys like this message. The two verses that I looked at today, as far as how do I want to kind of relate the accountability piece, were James chapter 3, verse 1. That verse talks about teachers and how not everybody should be a teacher. And before all my teacher friends get on my case and say, hey, wait a minute, I'm doing good things for good people. Absolutely you are. I believe that this teaching more involved the gospel. And the reason that God doesn't want everybody teaching the gospel is because, for the same reason that I can't go work a very physically demanding job, right? It's just not something that he built me to do. And God has placed on teachers a lot of accountability and a lot of, just being criticized for how they teach, and not everybody can handle that. And I think that's very important to remember. And the second verse that I looked at today, guys, was from 1 Peter chapter 4, and it was verse 5, and it's about judgment. And how accountability has to do with judgment is, when we think that we're not going to be judged for our actions, again, if you're a believer, that is dead wrong. Eventually you are going to be judged because you are going to come before God and you are going to have to give an account of your life. And so for me, what I'm trying really hard not to do is keep blaming others for things that happen with me, that happen to me. I'm trying to raise my children the same way. Hey, take responsibility for your actions. I know it sucks, but take responsibility for it. Just move on, and you're going to find that better things come into your life if you don't hold on to that anger, if you don't hold on to that bitterness, if you get rid of all those negative feelings that something or someone has caused you. You're going to be so much better in the end. And that's my prayer for everybody today that reads this message, listens to this message, watches this video, is that if there's things that you're still just holding on to because you can't get over it, because there's pressure in life and there's things that just have to be a certain way, guys, try your best to let go of it. That's when you're going to see the anxiety go away. That's when you're going to see your stress level come down. That's when you're going to see your relationship with your friends and your family get better. Because you know what? Something happened. We're all human beings. We all make mistakes. I forgive you. And that is so powerful, guys. And so that's my prayer for you all today, that I hope that you're able to kind of forgive someone or some situation that's been wrong to you. Take accountability for the role that you played in it yourself, because if you do that, you can bring closure to that situation, guys, and with that you can move on and have a successful life. That's all I got today, guys. I hope everyone does well. Have a great day, okay? Bye-bye.